The affirmative proposition, let me remind you guys one more time, is that all citizens should be required to have their DNA in the national database. The affirmative says that the current system of the DNA database is selective and leaves too many cases unsolved. What the opponent does not mention is that there are other reasons why cases are unsolved. According to Joseph L. Giacalone, a retired NYPD detective sergeant and the author of the book, The Criminal Investigation Function, there are actually 4 other reasons that cases can go unsolved. 4 including the inexperienced investigators, lack of personnel, relying too much on forensics, and lack of public cooperation. So the first, inexperienced investigators. Giacalone says that most police departments in the United States have fewer than 20 sworn officers, so that there is a little chance of obtaining the required training due to budgetary issues. With the limited amount of inexperienced investigators, it becomes difficult to satisfy the needs of investigators for the many crime situations. Andy Newman, New York Times publishes, says, and while fingerprint examiners are trained to testify only to absolute certainty about their work, defense lawyers point out that examiners do make mistakes, that training standards vary widely, and that most examiners have either failed or never taken the main certification test that you need to take in order to be a fingerprint examiner or forensics data specialist. Although forensics may be a reliable source of information, there are many cases where the lack of professionals are what are causing the many cases to go unsolved. Next, lack of personnel. Giacalone says, during the economic downturn, many departments laid off officers, reassigned others, and stopped hiring altogether. When you take into consideration the usual retirements, many departments are understaffed. There are generally a limited amount of officers due to the economic struggles that have occurred over the past years. Therefore, in some cases, there are simply not enough people on duty to work on certain cases, leaving it unsolved. Next, relying too much on forensics. I know our whole debate is about forensics, but there are cases when, situations when officials rely too heavily on forensics. Giacalone again states, unfortunately, I believe that relying too much on forensics, the lack of training personnel, could set clearance rates back even further. All technological advances have not led to higher clearance rates. Like the affirmative previously stated, there is already a DNA database system in play. He also states that the system doesn't appear to be working. The blame is directed towards the lack of DNA reported in the database, and that many of the other factors that could be causing crime to go unsolved is not mentioned, such as the lack of personnel and the lack of trained professionals. Next, I'm going to be talking about the lack of public cooperations, which can be a big part of why crimes don't go unsolved. Giacalone again states the best of investigations are often supplemented by the help of the public, whether information is obtained during the neighborhood canvasses or through a Crime Stoppers hotline. Civilians often hold the important pieces of crime puzzles. So eyewitnesses who are on the scene of the crime to see what happened, they provide a large part of how the crime solving goes or which direction it goes. Much of the evidence needed to solve a certain case is provided by the public. Another reason why resolving a case could be difficult is because of the lack of such public witnesses. The affirmative also states that DNA databasing can be improved in the current system and is extremely valuable for solving crimes. An attempt to improve the current DNA database by requiring every individual to submit their forensic data would cost a lot of money. Money that would be coming from the taxpayers, including the individuals that would be submitting their forensic data. So they're asking for people to turn in their forensic data and then to pay for them themselves, when some people might not even want to turn in their data, including, let's say, illegal immigrants who don't want the government to know that they're in the States. Though having everyone's DNA information may be beneficial for those attempting to solve a certain case, it is an unrealistic goal. Not everyone will willingly give up their information because of the lack in the trust in the government. No one trusts the government. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody, but everybody, but according to statistics, trust in government is at an all-time low. Andy Steinhauser, a publisher for CNN, stated that just 13% of Americans say that government can be trusted, to do what is right always or most of the time, with just over 3/4 saying only some of the time, and one in 10 saying that they never trust the government, according to the poll. Privacy is another important issue that has to be stated in this debate. I'm just going to bring up amendment number 4. It says the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizure. Keyword unreasonable. So people don't want to be blamed for these crimes. They question, why would I have to turn in my forensic data when I haven't done anything wrong? Why should individuals be accused of such crimes? And that's what will be going on in their heads when they are, let's say that this proposition was played out. Individuals that believe that they are innocent will question why they, alongside criminals, must turn in their forensic information. Lastly, the affirmatives also stated that a DNA database covering the whole population will save massive amounts of police time and money and help clear up crimes faster and more thoroughly. Like I previously stated, the system itself would require a lot of money to be spent before any money is saved. So there's a lot of spending before there's saving. So it pretty much cancels out. And there are also other factors that I previously stated that cause crime investigations to go unsolved. Although an individual's information may be recorded in a system, there's no guarantee that there would be forensic evidence left behind at a crime scene. So if there is no forensic evidence at a crime scene, then this whole proposition of everyone recording their forensic data would be useless. If they can't find forensic data at a crime scene, they have to rely on other sources such as events that led up to the crime happening and professionals who know best what happened and what led up to the event. Thank you.